Hi, Paula.
Hi,
Thanks for joining me today.
it's a
And
pleasure.
I'm really glad that you're here. And the reason that I am interviewing you is to talk about your success in the program that you have worked with me in functional medicine to help you optimize your health and wellness. So thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. It was so much fun working with you.
And I just wanted to start by asking you a few questions about your health. And so I think it's important sometimes to talk about when people are contemplating health and what they need to do to get to the next step so that they can get themselves feeling better again. What was your initial thoughts with why you needed to seek out some sort of program or service like this? What types of health symptoms were you dealing with that you were finding really challenging for you and affecting your life? Did you have one or two top health symptoms that you felt like were really affecting you?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's quite a list really, but like really was bloating, brain fog, food cravings,
Hmm.
really poor digestion,
Hmm.
aches and pains, just feeling like garbage, you know?
A lot of
Uh,
digestive symptoms. Yeah.
Well, and I had been hit with parasites really bad, and
Hmm.
so it's been like an ongoing saga, right? There's just one thing after another, but fortunately, really, now I can say this because I'm on the other side, is if I didn't get those parasites, there's no way I would have ended up where I am now. Like
Hmm.
they definitely wreaked havoc on my system, and then doing testing through you
Hmm.
know, that was just invaluable. It was so good.
Yeah, it's a real learning process, isn't it? And sometimes there is those unfortunate health triggers or situations that really make us basically reevaluate our health and think about where we're at and what we need to do. So,
Oh, for sure. Like you think everyone, like that list I just gave you, people probably are like, oh, that's normal. That's totally fine. And it's really, it's not normal. It's
mhm.
not okay. Like,
Yeah, and so obviously you felt like that wasn't okay in your body, and so you were seeking out answers. With those symptoms that you were feeling, how was that affecting your life? What types of things was it affecting your family life, your ability to work? What areas of your life did you feel like were most affected by all of those symptoms that you described?
every single part of it. There wasn't a moment, there's nothing on that list that didn't affect me at some point in a 24-hour period.
Hmm.
You know, you've got a business, you've got kids, you've got work, you've got house chores, duties, like you're constantly working. And if you can't work because you feel like garbage or you're trying your best, but you just can't really get it together and you know that you can do better, and really you just want to feel better, you know, like why do I feel so horrible, or at the end of the day, why do I look pregnant again when I'm not pregnant? You know,
So
that
that's
is,
the bloating you're describing that you were
yeah,
feeling.
like you just don't feel good, you know, in your skin. And also like with the brain fog, you're just not as on it as you know you can be, and you think, oh, maybe it's a phase, or like maybe I just need to eat more chocolate, or you're always looking for a substitute to make you better instead of actually taking the steps to make you better.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good point. And so that's pretty common, and that happens to most people. And that often is what lands them on this type of journey to figure out what's wrong with their health is knowing there's something not quite right, seeking out treatment, often getting a treatment that is more management of symptoms versus actually figuring out the root cause of where the symptoms are coming from and how to fix it. So for you, the trigger was learning that you had parasites, but behind that, we know that you learned there was also other imbalances in your body. It wasn't just the parasites that was the primary reason for you feeling unwell.
Oh
Um,
yeah. And I mean also, you know, like through the extensive, or that comprehensive stool analysis test, like learning as to like why would I get parasites in the first place? You know, there's just so much information, and then you can go back even further and think, you know what, like even before the parasites, I had poor digestion, or like you can really take it back a lot farther than we give credit, I think.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And so, as you decided to enter into this program, um, It sounds like your primary motivation was to get you feeling better in all aspects of your life. Would you agree? Do you feel like your health was at a point where it was affecting every aspect of your life, your relationship with your partner, your ability to relate to your kids, your work life, able to actually focus and balance and do the tasks of everyday life?
For sure. Like, I mean, it wasn't like things were falling apart. It was horrible. It's just that I knew I could be so much better. Like, and the fact that I just didn't feel good in my skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you knew there was a better
You know,
version of
and
yourself.
and then yeah, oh, for sure. And just the, like, the things that you used to be able to do, and now so many people say, oh, well, you know, we're older, we can't do this, and we're older and we can't do that. And I thought, you know, that doesn't sit well with me. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think we could get better as we get older, you know, obviously to a point, but like,
Sure.
let's see what we can do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. Sounds like you weren't willing to accept the status quo. And
No, it was not acceptable.
yeah. Yeah, and you're here on the other side of it, like you said. And so, could you explain to me maybe what you felt was your primary outcome that you achieved from going through the program with me?
Well, I mean, like
How
all
did
of it.
like how did your health status improve? Um,
Like the bloating, like, so I mean, there's so many things that we did, right? Like, so the food,
mhm,
figuring out what to have, what not to have, and doing that low FODMAP. The low FODMAP, when I first looked at it, I was thinking, oh my God, like, this is nuts. Like, there's no way this is gonna, how am I gonna do this? But as you get into it, you know, there's actually quite a bit that you can have.
mhm,
And it just really paints a picture very quickly as to what you can tolerate and what you cannot tolerate.
mhm,
Simple things like a tea I would have in the evening.
mhm.
It had some stuff in it. I don't even know what's in it to this day, but it would make me bloat.
Yep.
And I never even considered that before.
Yep.
So those types of things were really obvious.
Yeah,
Uh,
gaining the knowledge on what works for your body, it sounds like was a big outcome for you. So learning the types of foods, the types of
oh,
liquids you could bring in, what works, what doesn't, and it's not just a short-term adjustment. It's something that you're going to take for your long-term health.
oh, totally. Like forever. Like now, like I still eat very similar to how I did when I was on the program. It
Yeah,
just, it feels good, you
it's
know.
great.
And then every now and then you think, oh yay, I'm saved, I'm healed, everything's all good. I'm gonna have ice cream and just do whatever because like it's all gone and everything's all good. And that's not how it works. You know, it's,
Yeah.
you feel like garbage afterwards, and then you think, oh my God, like maybe it's coming back.
Yep.
And you just you know, it takes a long time to really get it into, well, into my head anyways, like, yeah, no, this is a forever
Mhm.
thing. Like,
It's great. You learned that there's a lifestyle change and a strategy that is specific and works well for you. And do you think you could elaborate on the types of lab testing that you did that actually helped you get to this point where you learned what worked best for your body? So I know you mentioned you did a comprehensive stool analysis profile, and we know that that looks at the balance in your gut microbiome and your digestion.
yeah,
And there was a lot of aha moments when you learned about the imbalances in your body and how to fix that through that lab test. Was there any other tests? Did you do any other like health genetic testing or other
oh,
tests that really helped you reveal the imbalances in your body and how to fix them?
for sure. Like the genetic test, like the health genetic test was the one that we did, and I just thought it was invaluable, like, as well. Like, there's just so many, I mean, it doesn't have to, people are really freaked out about it. I find when I talk to people, they're like, well, I don't want to know, you know, like if I'm susceptible to this, I don't want to know. And it's like, it's a blueprint to how you can thrive or how you can not thrive. You know,
Hmm.
this doesn't mean like, that's it, you're done. Like, you're susceptible to this, like you're screwed. It's the opposite. It's like, here you are, if you want to thrive, then just avoid these types of things. You
Hmm.
know, like they say, genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. So
Hmm.
why not be in control of that
Good
to the
one.
best we can, right? Like,
Yep.
obviously there are things, but like, yeah, I thought that was huge. That really guided me because of the whole systemic inflammation, like inflammation for, I mean, I'm sure it is for a lot of people, but for me, that was the big driver. Like getting off wheat and dairy. that took away a significant amount of inflammation, which was a great start.
Yep.
But seeing that genetics and knowing just how much more I have to watch out with like certain fats, you know, like ways of eating, like,
Yep.
I could just spend all my money just doing testing and figuring stuff out. It's just so cool. And there's so much information.
Great point. And so, yes, there is some specialized lab testing that you can do. And I do strongly recommend that people that come into a program and work with me do this. And the reason for that is because, like Paula said, you really learn more specifically where the true root imbalances lie in your body. And I don't know if you could speak to this in regards to working with other practitioners in the past or your family doctor, if you have done other types of lab testing, and if it was as helpful as this, or, you know, what the differences were there, and if you were able to really figure out what was going on until you did this type of testing.
I mean, yeah, it's apples and oranges. It's totally different, right? Like everybody wants to help, right? Like there's no doctor out there that doesn't want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do regular lab testing, like blood work with the doctor, I found that reference curve that you're throwing the numbers around, like I didn't really understand what that meant. Like, are you referencing an 80-year-old in that curve, a young kid, a child? Like here I am 44 and my number here seems quite low, but it's technically within range. So therefore they're like, it's not a problem. You're
Mm-hmm.
fine. And that didn't work for me because I didn't feel fine. I knew that something was not quite right.
Yep.
So like I said, like they're there to help as well, but just it's in a totally different way. And with you and with all the testing that you do, it's so specific. Like we all know fried food's bad, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have a genetic test that says actually specifically for you, fried food is pulling the trigger. So
Mm-hmm.
don't do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So when you have that evidence right in front of you and you've paid for it,
Yep.
you cannot disagree with it. And that's where the huge difference is, I found.
Yep. Yeah, so you feel like you got quite a bit more information, it sounds like, from that specialized lab testing that was very specific to you. And do you feel like the treatment plan was different as well, versus so working with a practitioner or a doctor on a one-to-one consult versus working in a program-based format? Do you feel like there was a different way of treating and getting results?
Yeah, like the thing that I really benefited from was like I was resistant to the whole program to begin with. I was like, oh my God, I don't have time. I'm so busy. I can't even think straight. Like, how am I going to pull this off?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I did because the texting, that was crucial for me because I would, you have these results and then you start getting into the program and then obviously you're having symptoms or feedback and you're like, what is this? Oh my God, I never noticed this before. What is this happening? Am I really supposed to take like this many supplements? Is this okay? Like all these questions come up and then you get the computer, then you're researching, and then you get more questions. So the texting was crucial.
Yep.
And then the meetups were also crucial because
Yep.
then, you were just right there. And then the weekly, like the Zoom group talks were great. Then you could write down even more questions. And then the feedback from the other people in the group too. Like, some testing that they had done that I hadn't done and like what they got out of it or what people are doing. And
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that is the benefit of working in a program-based format, like you said, is you get more than just a one-on-one consult. You actually do get constant support from me, but also other people in the group that are potentially going through some similar health challenges.
Yeah. I mean, the group is, it was great. And yeah, it's just so funny because I just didn't think I'd be able to find the time and like pull it off, and it's miraculous how once you sign up for something and then you're like, no, like, let's think about this. Like, let's do the MSQ form, have a look at it. Do I want to be better? You bet I want to be better. And then actually doing it. And not only that, like I did it another time and another half time. Like I needed more time because I just had so many like questions and symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's great to talk about what your resistance was to the program. A lot of people have that same resistance. I don't have the time, the resources to dedicate to this. But you decided to go through with it, and you obviously coming to the other side of it. And part of that has to do with subjective reporting, which is that MSQ. And that's short for medical symptom questionnaire. And so basically it's a way for people to score their own symptoms and to do that same questionnaire at different intervals in time and see how they report on symptoms changing. And so, Paula, you had some amazing changes with that MSQ symptom report. Congratulations. And you can go very high on that. And you were as high as 44.
Yeah.
And can you tell everyone what you're down to now?
Well, because I'm such a little nerd, I laminated one so I could do it at home just after the program and just to kind of see how I'm going. And I just did it today, and I'm a 4.
Unbelievable. So just to give people a reference for that, basically anything under 10 typically does mean that you are returning back to optimal balance in most systems in your body. You're very, very functional in your life, and you are moving into that category of optimal health and wellness. So I imagine for you, also really helps to strengthen your beliefs in the process.
Oh yeah, and it's yeah, for sure. I mean, seeing it, feeling it, you know, I was just curious because I haven't filled one out in a long time. And because I mean, I feel great. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, that can't be right. I had to go over it quite a few times. I was like, wow, yeah, no, it's a 4.
Yeah, amazing to see. And I'm sure it's more amazing to feel in your body. So, yeah, I mean, I think if we had to summarize the improvements for you, you would say that you really have returned to regaining energy, decreasing that brain fog, feeling focused and attentive at work again, more connected with your family members because you're just feeling better in all aspects of health. And you know, what's
Oh man, I don't know what's next. We haven't talked.
I imagine now that you're feeling a lot better in your body, that you can set some of your own personal goals. You know, that might not.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
on your health, right? I mean, you've gotten yourself to a point where you can manage your health to the point that you can actually start enjoying life again.
Oh yeah, like I mean, I go to the gym. I mean, it's really quite organized now. Like I like to go to bed at a certain time. I like to eat a certain way. I love to exercise. Like my whole day has structure, but in a very positive way instead of just being chaotic. Before it was always chaotic, you know, just this like walking tornado, but yet not being productive. And now it's like calm, productive, and it just feels so good, you know. There's way less chaos. I mean, life is chaotic, but you know, I'm not a walking tornado anymore.
Amazing, you know. So I mean, it sounds like it's really just turned your life around. So you know, I congratulate you, and you know, hopefully you feel that the program. It sounds like you feel like it was well worth your time, your while. You're glad and happy you committed. And hopefully this also helps to strengthen other people's belief system in that they can also do this. So thanks for sharing your story.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I tell anyone and everyone about it because it's just so amazing. Yeah, we can choose to be better, so why not?
Yeah, great. It's so great to hear from you, hear your success story, and I hope others also can hear the success story and know that they can do this as well. So thanks again for interviewing. I really appreciate it, Paula, and good luck with the next steps for you. I look forward to hearing about it.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Bye.
take care.